You see, if it was just that people hurt you because they just wanted to, look at the story of Judas. If you think that Judas betraying Christ was just because Judas, just decided to betray Christ and, get money and walk away, then why would there ever be a moment when the Bible tells us, and Satan entered him? So there was a crack in Judas. Judas was a thief. He was stealing from, their money bag. Judas desired wealth over following the Lord. There was a crack in him following the Lord as a disciple. And when the enemy saw that crack, he used it for leverage. And then the enemy came in. What I'm sharing with you is the person that you are holding bitterness against. There's some of you in this room and God is after your heart. And the person that you're holding this deep-seated bitterness against is the key to your freedom. Is the key to, there are things that you're seeking and desiring in God that He cannot release to you because your heart sets the boundaries of how God could use you. You see, when you look at a man named David in the Bible, David, the moment that the prophet Samuel went to the house of Jesse, his father, and the Lord had instructed him that in the house of Jesse, that he would anoint the next king. What took place in that moment reveals to us that David and his father had a very weird relationship. Because when the prophet comes to his home, the prophet asks him to literally, line up his sons. And Jesse has every son except David. To tell you that he did not even regard that there is a possibility that the hand of God could be on David. He left him in the field. He did not for one moment tell the prophet, wait, let me get all of my sons. No. He believed that David is only good for being a shepherd boy. But yet David served and honored his father in such a faithful way. You see, as I was praying for this message, there was a thought that came to mind. That if David did not honor his father in the manner that he did, maybe when he was fighting the lion and the bear, he might not have survived it. Because when the Bible says, honor your mother and your father so that your days might be long, there is a covenant of life you come into through honor. So apart from the fact that the hand of God was upon him, but there was a covering over his life through the way he honored a man who dishonored him. And what David modeled with his father, you see the same thing he modeled with Saul. David was not a perfect man by any means, but the Lord saw him as one who was loyal to the things of God, because David recognized the power of a pure heart. You see, this morning, what I want to encourage you with is that you have to understand that your heart sets the boundaries for your life. If your heart is corrupted, there is not much that God can do through you. And if you're a part of this church, then you are aware of the great and mighty things that God has in store for you. But for you to be effective as a vessel, then you must be a pure vessel.